never really think that your kids are going to get involved in things like this, especially because they know the dangers, because we had even read things, especially to our youngest, about this. When our oldest son, Johnny, came back from Iraq, he didn't know it at the time, but he was coming back with severe post-traumatic stress disorder, and within the next couple of months he got involved in taking all different kinds of drugs to numb pretty much what he was feeling, and drinking and everything. Actually, he didn't really have a safe place to live, and he ended up with old friends that once again influenced him to start taking drugs, but this time it was heroin. After, I don't know, maybe 2 years of that, or a year and a half of going back and forth with that drug, we came to the States with our youngest son, David, who had just graduated from high school, and really little did we know that he also was going to pretty much, you could say, follow in the footsteps of his brother, but they're very different and their stories are quite different, but they did end up, both of them, taking this drug, or being addicted to this drug, heroin. One day I had to go to church for a Bible study, and the two brothers just, I was fixing my computer with my brother-in-law. He was helping me fix the computer, and they just ran out the door to the car and said, "We'll see you, bye." And I'm like, wait, and I ran out, because you don't just say, "I'll see you, bye." And they were gone. But the way they ran out so quickly, I did not have peace at all. And so we finished working on my computer. I had to go to church because I have a group of women there. And I did ask them to pray. I said, "I just don't have peace. I really honestly don't know where my sons are right now." And I kept calling and got no response. I got home probably about 3 hours later, and my sister came with me. She said, "In case, for whatever reason, Brenda, I want to be with you." Well, then I saw that lights were on and that they were home. But this was after having left the house about 7 hours before without knowing anything. That would not matter normally, except when you know that your sons have been having problems with drugs. So I came in and I said, "Where were you guys?" And this time I don't really get angry. I mean, I can be angry, but I don't yell. And so I said, "Where were you?" And they both looked at me, and my youngest son had been in jail for a couple hours. This is why I've learned a lot about what happens when people do drugs. It makes them into people that they're really not, you know, and it makes them do things that under normal circumstances they would never even think about doing at all. And one of those is going into certain drugstores or supermarkets and you can get DVDs. We didn't just let this go. Once we realized how serious this was, we looked into places of rehab, especially for David, our youngest. I try not to talk about this much and say that you need to be this way because your parents are this way. I don't want to put that pressure on them, but it does come to a point where it's like, you know what? You are a testimony. No matter what, you're either a bad or a good testimony for Christ, for your family, for yourself. And so I did hit that night, and I had many nights where I hit, you could kind of say, rock bottom of depression. It's just that the Lord would help me. I would just talk to the Lord, especially when my husband wasn't there. Of course, there are, some negative things in all this, obviously. One is just the feeling of, as I look back, of guilt. Like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Why did I allow this? Why didn't I see this? I mean, there's a lot of questions I have. And sometimes these feelings when I'm thinking about the past and things that they've been through, it just kind of comes at times when I can't even explain. I could be doing anything around the house or out, no matter, I could be with people or not people, and these thoughts will just come to me. And I've had to deal with them, and even so, they still come back, but just feeling like I failed somehow. Another thing is, as a parent or someone close to someone who's done drugs, you realize your part in it as far as being an enabler. And I did learn, I was aware of that, especially towards the end, and I realized I was becoming an enabler. And that is the point when I really thought we were going to kick one of our sons out, but kept them in, hoping that they were still going to go to that rehab. But there are many positive things in all of this, and I do have to admit that in times when things were just, I look back now, a lot of it's a blur. It was so fast, things were happening. But I honestly, I can't explain it, but there was always, like, in the back of my mind, this hope. There's hope. And I know that came from the Lord. There's hope. Things are going to work out. Things are going to get better for my sons. My sons are going to come through this, and so are we. That really comes only, I'm sure, from God. Because even in times where just things seem so awful, and I would maybe be crying and just, feeling awful, but there's something deep down, there's hope. And that comes from the Lord.